Hello. Good morning, beautiful. How are you? And how are you taking care of yourself today? I am Heidi Esther, joyful purpose mentor and author, and ready to guide you from, we'll just say, from doormat to empowered, joyful human. And I am here with an update today for you. And if you are on, I would love to know how you are and how you're taking care of yourself today. It is Thursday, so it's not my usual day to come on, but I'll be on Thursdays, just kind of giving book and course updates and all the things that are happening in the Heidi Esther author sphere. So, um my book, so I have a final audio version and a final print version of my book. Yay. um Also, I am, now that I have those, I am going to be going through some technical steps as it relates to getting them ISBNs and like all that technical stuff that's like on the page that's usually right before the title page in the book. It's called ISBN stuff and LTCN and CIP. I know there's like so many acronyms in the publishing industry. It's like crazy. So I'll be working on that and also getting the barcode ready for the back of the book. And I am super excited to get all that technical stuff taken care of so I can start reaching out and sharing my For Crying Out Loud goofy message with the world. So that is what is going on with the book, For Crying Out Loud. I am putting updates of the book and book process and where I'm at on HeidiEsther.com/ For Crying Out Loud. So you can check that out anytime also. And if you'd like to be part of Team Sunshine, which is the book launch team, I would absolutely love you get a advanced reader copy of my book, as well as the chance to kind of share it with your people, like your family and friends and your community, to try to get it to shine as brightly as possible. If you are interested in Team Sunshine, you can let me know below, send me a comment, or you can email me at howdy@heidiester.com. So, the course, the Peeling Your Onion course, which I am talking a lot about these days. I'm working on finding a place locally that kind of fits with what I'm, the light and the message I am trying to share with Peeling Your Onion. And so you can sit tight and wait, and pretty soon it's going to be available. I think I'm going to have an online version because Corona, as well as an in person version in the Champaign Urbana area. So if you are interested in the Peeling Your Onion course and going through some, it's going to be like some storytelling and resilience building. And I'm going to be sharing some messages from my book. And we're just kind of diving into all the good and potentially joyful that is you, and setting you up for joyful success. So if you're interested, would love to know. So other than that, it's been a polar vortex here in the Midwest, and my dogs and I have been just doing the blankets thing, and I'm actually wrapped in a blanket right now because it's cold and I'm in my basement. So that's kind of where we're at. I would say that my burnout journey is not completed, and my energy is still not like super high. It's probably about medium high. And yeah, so I'm still kind of working on that, trying to take care of myself every day and refill my bucket from it getting so drained. And I'm going to be probably announcing some shifts pretty soon in my platform and how you can reach me. So stay tuned for that. All right. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? It is good to see you. So good. I would love to know how you are and how you're taking care of yourself today. So, um, other than that, I'm keeping it real in halftime stay-at-home mom land and halftime building out my light to just share with the world. Oh, it is so good to see you too, Stephanie. She said she had a very nice quote here I can show. Oh, great, great. Stephanie is someone I think who has I read this book called it's called Dear Writer, You Need to Quit, and then another book called Dear Writer, Are You in Burnout? And it talks about different plate size. Like we all have a different plate size, and it's kind of like set like with our personality and like how we like to work. And I think Stephanie has a very large plate, or at least she works like she has a very large plate. She could have a very large team, which makes it seem like she has a very large plate. I will, I'll show you a comment about URL to a little video about plate size, Stephanie, and then you can tell me what size plate you have. I have a pretty small plate. And part of the reason that I went into burnout is because I was pretending I had a very large plate and I was not having help. Stephanie says she has a very large plate and a small team. Yes. Yes. I have a I have a tiny team and a small plate. So I'm trying to figure out what is right for my message and sharing my message and getting it out in the world without encumbering myself with a lot of things that drain me. So yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Well, Stephanie, do you have any questions for me with regards to as just given my like book update and my course update? And I did time. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. I think self-awareness is the most important thing. The most important thing, Stephanie. I don't know where I would be without it in my journey before I had much self-awareness. I think I was kind of like a ratty flag just being blown about around a hurricane. I just kind of was going everywhere for everything, and I didn't have much way to push back because there was nothing to push back about because I didn't know myself. So now that I know myself, I can say, "You know what? I am not a ratty flag in the wind. I am going to be like an ibis." And if you don't know what an ibis is, Stephanie, you might know what an ibis is because you're down there in Jamaica. An ibis is a bird that can fly in hurricanes. And I like to think of ibises as sitting in the eye of a hurricane, like being able to embrace the wind and still stand in your own truth. And that is all because of the tiny steps that we all take every day for self awareness and self care. Because if you don't have self care, you're telling yourself that you're not worth the time. So I feel like I could do a whole course on self care and why it's so important. I did self care before I even liked myself, to be honest. And then once I started taking care of myself, I realized, oh, this feels kind of okay. I kind of like spending time with myself. I'm not just filling up my time with like dusting china that doesn't need to be dusted. Hmm. So self-awareness is so incredibly important if you want to find out what makes you happy. You could stumble along, you could be the ready flag in the wind, and maybe you will catch a favorable wind sometime and end up on a lovely Caribbean beach like in Jamaica. But the odds are not against you. You probably are gonna end up in on the ocean and on the ocean floor. So I highly suggest self-awareness. It gets you to that place where you can be the ibis. You can stand in your own truth in the middle of chaos. And that is where I start my journey in my upcoming book, and the course. The Peeling Your Onion course has a lot of exercises about just kind of like noticing like what you're curious about, noticing if you're patient with yourself, noticing if you're talking to yourself with kindness, noticing if you're just kind of like skipping a lot of things to do for you because other things might seem more important, but are they? Things are urgent, but not necessarily important. I keep telling my kids that with regards to their phone chats. Like, they get all these texts all the time. Urgent, yes, they get the buzz. They get the buzz, totally distracted. But do we have to look at that during dinner? No. The phone's gotta go away, or mama's not gonna be happy because we can't share a meal together because they're so distracted by things that are not important during things that are important. So anyway, yes. Yes. Oh, totally agree. Self-care that brings you joy. Yes. So when you get to that point where you're like, self-care isn't so bad. It's not a waste of time. It's not like sitting here twiddling my thumbs or like putting my hands up like this when I meditate. I honestly I don't even know anybody that does that. Like, that puts their hand up like, the okay sign, on their laps when they meditate. I don't know anyone that actually meditates on the floor. I usually meditate laying on my bed, like, right after I get up in the morning. I'm, like, totally quiet, all's good, and yeah, and that self-care of meditation is what brings me joy, that little piece, and you put enough of those little pieces together, you're like, "Hey, I got something here. I think I'm onto something." And then you start saying, "Wait a second, y'all need to sit tight because I am taking care of myself right now. And I'll get back to you when my cup is full. Because if I get back to you when my cup is half empty, I'm going to be asking you to fill that cup." And that's where controlling comes in. And I tell you what, as a recovering codependent, when I was codependent, I would not take care of myself because I would expect other people to take care of me. And no one ever takes care of you as well as you're gonna take care of yourself, because who knows yourself best, right? The idea is that you know yourself best. So you get to fill all your cups, and then all the other love that comes in your life is just a joyful overflowing of love for you. And the worth and the care of the universe are saying, "Hey, you are supported and you are loved as you support and love yourself." So the universe gives you more of what you're focusing on. So if you're focusing on supporting and loving yourself, the universe is going to support and love you too. Oh, yay. Stephanie also um, does meditate while lying in bed as well. I just thought, just because I was so sleepy. And honestly, sometimes I do fall asleep a little bit. Um, but it is more quiet in the morning. It's more quiet for me in the morning for sure in my head. So, so as this was an absolutely lovely check-in. I'm going to be doing my check-ins and book and course updates every Thursday, and I will be, talking to you more about potential. I'm going to be setting my publishing date in the next week. So next Thursday, I will have a publishing date for you, and I am going to put that link up to the plate size video if anyone would like to investigate what they think their plate size might be, so that you can more align with who you are and what you can handle, and then you can ask for help. All right. Sending you love, light, and laughter, and a beautiful weekend. Until next time, I'm Heidi Esther.